Hey everyone, welcome back to the Custom Cones USA channel. Today we're going to go in a little bit more in depth on how to clean your King Kone. So one of the biggest misconceptions and the biggest mistakes people make when cleaning the King Kone is by soaking the parts in water or alcohol. Certain parts of the King Kone are industrially 3D printed, so they have the propensity to actually soak up some of that water, and therefore it could also create a chance for microbials to grow on these parts if you're not really careful during the cleaning process, allowing them to fully dry. Best way to keep the King Kone clean is to wipe it down regularly. You could use water, you could use alcohol, and this will help clear out any debris without soaking the machine too much so it dries relatively quickly. Okay, so now let's dive into how to clean the King Kone with our suggested tools, which are tube brushes, wire brush, gun cleaning brushes, and compressed air. We already have an in-depth video on how to clean the King Kone motor, and it's also really important to make sure that you're wearing goggles and have the right PPE in terms of masks, and that you're in a room with a proper air filter. From top to bottom, you could first start to clean the King Kone by removing the top trays, which are made from polycarbonate. These are the clear trays, and these are really durable and can be soaked in ISO. They don't have the ability to absorb the moisture, so these are safer to leave soaking for a longer time, and then you could do the final cleaning with a toothbrush. The side trays are made out of a powder-coated stainless steel, and these could be easily gunked up as they collect all of the excess flour. We recommend using up to 95% isopropyl alcohol and various brushes and cloths to clean up any gunk or buildup in all the crevices within these side trays. Now, when you look down into the inside of the King Kone, you'll notice a metal plate. So a lot of excess flour material will be bouncing along this plate, and this could easily build up residue as you use the King Kone throughout your week. So that inner metal plate is going to be made from cold rolled steel. So you can soak it. We recommend soaking it for only about 1 hour and then thoroughly scrubbing it and then thoroughly drying it. So now on the housing of the King Kone, which is the main metal body surrounding the motor, the best way to clean this is to take a brush and scrub the housing all around the machine. You can remove the housing by moving these two tabs on the front and the back of the machine. This is again made out of powder-coated stainless steel, so very durable. You can soak this in water up to 95% isopropyl, and then you could thoroughly scrub it. And then again, we really highly suggest that you make sure it is thoroughly dried, and that way you'll make sure that your King Kone is always in perfect health and running in perfect condition. So once it's thoroughly dried, run over it with some compressed air to thoroughly dry it and clean out any other remaining flour debris that's lodged in there. So one of the best aspects of the King Kone is that it has a ton of attachments, and that'll help you scale your pre-roll line, create all sorts of new products. So now we're going to get into how to clean these attachments. Again, it's really important to clean your King Kone and all the spare parts as you use them. So it's always best to make it a part of your SOP to clean the machine and all the accessories at the end of each shift. This is proper manufacturing best practices. If not at the end of each shift, you should definitely clean all the parts at least at the end of each week. So the King Kone conversion kits are used to pack pre-rolled tubes. So the best way to clean these is to use one of those wire or tube brushes and slide these in and out of each slot of the conversion kit. You can soak these brushes in isopropyl to help make this process easier. And then again, the final process of using compressed air will help remove any other remaining particles and thoroughly dry out each part. Keep in mind, if you are soaking and cleaning plastic parts, these may discolor over time, but that is purely cosmetic. Some customers are tempted to put these attachments, tamping fingers included, into a dishwasher. Dishwashers could get very hot, so we do not recommend putting any plastic parts into a dishwasher. So the best way to clean the tamping fingers is again using brushes, cloths, using isopropyl, and then drying off again with compressed air. So really use that brush and get in there and scrub all of those flour touching parts to make sure they're perfectly clean and avoid any cross-contamination across batches or as you go through your manufacturing process. And now onto the metering tray. So the best way to clean the metering tray is by removing the metal slide from the inside of the tray and then separating the top and bottom half. Use a brush to get into each hole of the metering tray and then thoroughly scrub the metal tray, as this part will gunk up over time as it is directly touching your flour material. Again, as with all the other parts, do not soak for too long and then use compressed air to both dry and remove any remaining particles. As long as you regularly clean your King Kone, you won't have any issues at all. By not cleaning the King Kone, you're not only degrading the performance of your machine, it's going to slow down your production, potentially cross-contaminate different strains, At worst case, microbials from batch to batch, or by not cleaning it, you allow microbials to grow. And it's really important, again, not to soak these parts in water for too long. If you can avoid soaking in water, which you can by regular cleaning, we really suggest you don't soak them in water. If you do need to soak in water or isopropyl, 1 hour is best, or only up to 2 hours, and then it's extremely important to thoroughly dry all of these parts.